Thanks, Skylar. It's been a while since I've done this, so might be a little rusty. But my name's Bob Boss, and when Brent texted me on Tuesday and asked me if I was going to be around on Sunday, I was up to something, and so here I am sharing a little bit of my story. I was concerned because my first reaction was that I wasn't really in a spot to share. My life has been just like everybody else's. It's been up and down, and I feel like I'm in the middle of this thing that God is doing in me and to me and through me and with my family. So should I really be up here sharing at church? But then I realized, and I asked myself the question, well, it's a great time to share. Isn't the middle a really good time to share what God has been doing in my life? So thanks, Brent. Thanks for knowing me. Thanks for asking me anyways. Here it goes. Just about 4 years ago, at the beginning of 2019, I could not have predicted just how much my life was going to be changed and transformed over the coming years. I was a full-time middle school teacher. I did that. My wife was working full-time as an HR director for a company here in SLO. At the time, we had a full-time 2-year-old and a full-time 4-year-old. And to make all of that work, we had a full-time nanny at our house. Life was very full-time. During the middle of that and that full-time life, my childhood nightmares were kind of coming true as an adult in my own immediate family. You see, I grew up in a household that was loving and compassionate and fun, but there was a dark side to that. There was a flip side. My parents had a really volatile relationship. During the mix of difficult jobs and financial circumstances, 3 kids when I was growing up running around, and seemingly endless relational stress, they struggled to keep our family afloat. My memories are flashes of joy and flashes of trauma, and I was definitely stuck in the middle. I was the middle child. I was in the middle of an overburdened mom, an angry mom, a down and out and quiet dad, a brother who was rebelling against society, and a younger sister who was just lost in the wake. And I did my best in the middle to just do good things, and hopefully that would keep us all stuck together. And it did for the most part, but not without some serious lingering issues. So fast forward back to 2019, in that full-time life, those family issues reared their heads when my dad lost his job, and he spiraled into a really deep and dark depression. I actually found myself saving my dad's life through a series of conversations from suicide, from taking his own life. You know, my mom had had enough, and my nightmares were coming true back then. You know, my goodness had failed. I tried to play the middleman between family members in a long, drawn-out process of hurt and healing, but my family was finally falling apart, at least in my own eyes. Also, 2020 hit, COVID. We were in the middle of another life crisis. Life as we knew it was turning upside down. My job as a public school teacher definitely turned upside down. My full-time family was having its own decision-making processes, and those 2 little kids were caught in the crosshairs. Our nanny was leaving, and just like many families in our shoes, my wife and I were faced with the decision of what to do. Do we take a step back? Do we keep both of us working, risk our mental health, risk our physical health? The strength of our family was in question. So despite the financial hardship, we made a difficult call. My wife, Kelly, is the altogether rock of our family. She's 100 times smarter, 100 times more efficient, and 100 times better at almost everything than I am. And together, with her at my back, we decided that I would take a step back from my job as a teacher to figure out how to do and take care of our kids on our own without a nanny, and most importantly, to figure out how to do kindergarten on Zoom. We were in the middle of it. But the miracle in all of that is that's when I felt God show up. I could see him working in our lives. He was there in the transition. We felt his tug and his nudges to seek out what God had called our family into, something different. It was in the middle of that very difficult time in our life that I began to find more of myself. My soul had been hoping, searching, and reaching for a Savior's guidance, for a path, for my purpose, and for a way to walk that out for my family and myself. And God's answer, it was fatherhood. It was in me becoming a full-time stay-at-home dad that he gave me a path to use the lessons learned from the trauma in my childhood and in my own life to get out of the muck and the mire of my past and lead my family on a new and redeeming journey. God began working in me to reveal and redeem a part of me that had never been whole, that was always stuck in the middle. God started showing me more of who I am and how he sees me in light of my difficult childhood. He began revealing to me a way that I could walk through this life with a deeper, more connected purpose. And that was pretty scary. That also felt like the middle of it. If you know the Boss family, you know that we love to travel, we love to adventure. If we're not currently on an adventure, we're scheming about the next adventure that we're going to be going on. And that's where that part of our family really came to life, right in the middle there. We found respite and solace in new places, and being able to travel and be together as a family has been the biggest blessing I can ever imagine. I was able to pump blood into one of my passions, which is art and painting, and found myself really busy running my own art business. It was during the middle of that time that we committed to finding a church, and we found Slow City. One of the first people I met at the men's group was also a stay-at-home dad. Talk about a sign from God. New spiritual community invigorated our souls. It gave us people we look forward to having in our lives more, and this church filled our lungs with air. My parents, by the grace of God, in the middle of that, are still together. Of course, they're still working out the kinks with us, but they got through it. Now, I'm not here to say that my life is by any means put together. We're still in the middle of the struggle. We're still deep in the uncertainty of life. The difficult late-night conversations that my wife and I have together are proof of that. My own struggle in my own soul with my own depression and my own identity and my own worth is proof of that. But there's also hope in that as well. I'm here to say that I think a big part of my process of growth is patience in that uncertainty. It's me accepting that I'm still in the middle of all this, of this thing that God is doing in me and to me and through me and with my family. And I think that's right where he wants me to be. Maybe that's right where he wants us to be. He's with it in me. I'm in it with him. And he's walking me through the struggles of fatherhood, of helping me become more like Jesus, and of finding contentment in that process. Really, the encouraging thing is that we found people like us at Slow City Church doing just that. They're in the middle of it. They're walking through whatever God has put before them and experiencing the highs and the lows. If I know anything about God and my place in his plan, it's that he's not done with me yet. I'm right where he wants me to be. Maybe you are too, right in the middle of it. And thanks to God, that's a challenging and beautiful place to be. Thanks.